It's a constant journey. You're never gonna arrive. Like, Grant and I talk about 10X. We have never 10X'd our goals, because every time we even get close to 10Xing, the new goal is 10X that. So it's constantly like, we're always like, and I hand to God, Grant and I say to each other, almost at least once weekly, literally, we say, when are we gonna make it? When are we gonna make it? You know, because every time we kind of get even close, it becomes so much bigger. But back to this plane story, okay? So I have this brand new plane, and I'm showing my mother the plane for the very first time. She's visiting me in Miami, and I have the pilots opening the plane for her, and I bring her on board, and I'm like, Mom, look, you know, and I'm like a child. Every time I get on that plane, it's still exciting. I'm like, wow. And I'm like, okay, so we walk in, and there's the cockpit, and oh my God, it's amazing, and look at this thing, and blah, blah, blah. And then I'm like, and here's the galley, the kitchen, look, we have this, we have this, we have this. And I'm like, and right here, this is the crew cabin. I mean, a place for the crew, and the door shuts, and it lays down into a bed. Oh my God, can you believe this? And then I'm walking back, and I'm like, and this section here, this seat folds down, and this turns into a bed, and that's Scarlett's bed, and this one folds down, and this is Sabrina's bed. And then we walk a little bit more, and there's like the 4-seater, right? And I was like, watch this. And the table, it goes down, and the thing lays out, and you put a mattress, and that's my bed. It's like a double bed. I sleep on the plane. Can you believe this? And I'm like so excited. And I'm like, Mom, this is the best part. You know, I was like, I made Grant. I made him. You know, I'm not demanding, but I made him put in a door, you know, this bulkhead door, and all you have to do is push a button, and the thing shuts by itself. And I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. And did you know, to put this door in, the plane had to go down for a month because they had to strip the entire plane and put it back together. And that's why this door is like, blah, blah, blah. She's like, And I'm like, I'm getting more and more excited. I'm like, and now we're in my favorite part. I'm like, this is the private bedroom area. This lays down. This turns out into like this queen size bed. And well, it's a little too small for me and Grant, but Grant sleeps here. And then the back is the second bathroom. We have 2 bathrooms on the plane. And I'm like, and this one's the big, magnificent one. And I'm, look, Mom, a closet here and a little closet here. And I was like, Mom, do you just love it? And she's looking, she's like, well, where's the shower? And I'm like, Mom, it doesn't have a shower. Do you need a shower? Oh my God, this isn't good enough. Like, this is not the response I was looking for. And I'm like, Mom, and she's laughing at first, and then all of a sudden she starts crying. And I'm like, Mom, I was joking, like, it's okay, you know, like, I wasn't really offended here. And she was like crying, and I was like, Mom, what's the matter? And she said, God, I just remember when you had your Toyota Tercel, your little Toyota Tercel, you were 17 years old, and you told us, you sat us down at this table, and you said, I'm leaving, I'm gonna leave New Orleans, and I'm gonna go to Los Angeles, and I have to do something with my life. And you had, you know, was so scared to let my 17-year-old daughter go off into Los Angeles without knowing anyone. But I knew I couldn't stop you because I never could. You always did what you were going to do anyway. And she said, but you did my very first job ever in New Orleans was a Sprite commercial. And I saved up $7,000, which was like, to us, I mean, I was rich. $7,000, and I moved to Los Angeles at 17, 3 days after my last exam in high school, did not wait to go get the diploma. I was like, I'm out of here. And I get there, and I buy this Toyota Tercel with my $7,000 that I had to like make last until I got a job in LA. And so I had to get the color in white because that was the cheapest. I had to get the car with a stick shift. And I had never driven a stick shift in my life. So now I'm 17, and I have to learn how to drive a stick shift on the streets of Los Angeles. was horrendous. I had to get the car with no air conditioning, because that was extra, and it had no radio. And that was the car. And I would show up at my little modeling auditions or my acting auditions, and my entire back would be just completely like wet. I was so embarrassed back then, you know, like I remember this one time, and you know, when you're 17, you're like not comfortable in your own skin. Like you can't just be honest and be like, I can't afford it, I'm working on it, you know, I'm gonna make something of myself. And like, I don't know why I couldn't be real or transparent. I was just so ashamed. You know, I thought back then like you needed things to be something or to be looked upon with respect or something. And so like I had the car filled with all these people, and we were like going out, you know, I was probably 18 at this point, but I've always had a fake ID, so. I'm from New Orleans, I had the fake ID young. So I'm in the car, and someone was like, well, where's your music? And I lied. And I said, oh, somebody stole it. Like, because it was the time where they had the pull-out radios. And later, this guy I was dating was like, why did you lie about that? It was so clear that there was never a radio in there. And I was like, oh, wow, like, people knew that? Like, I didn't know. But, you know, it's just amazing to me that that little girl has gone from that to now what we did at GrowthCon, to being married to such an incredible guy, to being a mother, to being here on this stage today in front of you. It's like the whole world has changed for me. It's shifted, and it wasn't always like this. And sometimes through social media or whatever, it might appear to, oh, it's easy for her, or well, once you have money, it becomes easier, you can do this, you can have that, whatever. But it was not always like that.